Hello and welcome to the 27th episode of Unmasked. We are back once again. Zach, Dan, I love it when you smile as soon as I say hello and welcome. How are you
Yes,
doing?
sir. It's good to be back, baby.
How you doing, man?
And dude, I'm doing well. Summer's wrapping up. It's crazy, bro. The summer has gone by so fast.
Yeah, so how many more weeks of work do you have?
I have 2 more weeks. I mean, in my less than 2 weeks. I finish next Friday.
Okay. Okay.
Sad.
Well, I my summer's already over. I've been taking classes up here in Ann Arbor. You can see a familiar apartment up here. We never seem to be able to film one of these together in the same room, even when we're in the same location, but it's all good.
One day, maybe
Coming,
the final episode of Unmasked will be
yeah, maybe
we
the
can be
final.
unmasked together.
One of the podcasts I listened to just hit 200 episodes, and I was thinking this is episode 27. To have 200 episodes is pretty neat. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but you guys, everyone, the support has been amazing, so we'll keep it going.
I feel like 100 would be a nice milestone.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think that's that. If we started going hard, I mean, we already do go hard.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, but I think 100 is attainable.
yeah, 100 could get there, and it's not like our content's ever going to run out. I mean, sports keeps coming. So.
Infinite.
Exactly. Well, speaking of sports, today is going to be very focused on the NBA draft, which you're probably listening to this on Wednesday, so it's going to be Thursday tomorrow, I guess. And so I have a little intel, by the way, on one of the lottery picks who I don't think should be a lottery pick, but this past weekend, I'm 21, back in Ann Arbor. I'm vaccinated. I saw Franz Wagner, the big dub, out at the clubs in Michigan. Both actually 2 straight nights I saw him out. I saw him out at Rick's American Cafe, which is actually a bar, Thursday night, and then Friday night at Live in downtown Ann Arbor. And my friend, our friend Micah, actually went up to him and said, "Good luck next week." And we exchanged some words. We walked away. But I'm just telling you, I don't think the Sacramento Kings want him in an Ann Arbor bar. I think they want him practicing his free throws.
Down. Draft stock down.
I saw Franz, Hunter Dickinson, saw some other Michigan players, but Franz definitely was the one that was standing out. I'm like, dude, your draft is in a week. All right, you're going to be a top 10 pick for some reason. And I'm not the biggest Franz fan. Didn't show up when it counted. And you're out here talking to college girls and drinking $2 wells at Rick's when you could be working on your free throws. I just don't understand it. I mean, I guess if he's going to go to the Kings, like, they probably love it actually, because they're just looking to tank every year after year. But I don't know. Can't be a good look, right? That's just not what
it's actually funny that you say that, because I met Drew Timmy at a bar in Austin. I met him at Buford's.
Oh yeah.
He has a lot of mutual friends with us. Gavin Gold is a good friend of his, and he introduced me to him, and they're kind of really good friends. Which is so funny.
But he's coming back, right? He's gonna go for.
Oh yeah, Drew Timmy's coming back. So let's not let that affect his draft stock just yet.
Yeah,
it was
still a college
season. He was getting over that. So close to the championship.
He's a college kid still. Franz made the executive decision to enter the draft, and you got to stick by that, man. A week before the draft, you cannot be downing cheap vodka at Rick's Cafe.
Do you know anybody who's friends with him, personally?
I have managers of the basketball team, but no one that I'm super close with who knows him well. But I once waited at a bus stop with his older brother, Mo, who coincidentally carrying Germany in the Olympics right now, Mo Wagner. He actually had 29 points in the qualifying championship game to get them into the Olympics. And Twitter went on fire, and they were like, it just shows you how good the worst NBA players are. And I'm like, that could not be more accurate. The fact that Mo just drops buckets on countries shows you that. But yeah, I saw him. Also, I had one of the weirdest interactions I think I've ever had. And I'm going to play a little game, racist or not. I need your help on this.
I don't like this game at all.
So I'm standing with 2 of my friends who I've met in my program. They are both from India. Okay. And we're standing there, and the three of us are just at the bar. And this girl, definitely a sorority, could not tell you which one. Probably has had a couple too many White Claws, whatever she's been having, Topo Chico hard seltzers. They don't have that in the Midwest, whatever it was. Whatever the sorority girls, the strat girls drink.
Why are you stereotyping? Maybe
she comes. Okay, well, you think that's stereotyping? Watch out. She comes up. It's all three of us, and she just says, "Are you guys like all Indian?" And I look at her. I'm like, the other two guys just like, they're pretty new to America. They're like, yeah, like we're Indian, and I'm like, whoa, like, A, that's not okay. B, do I look Indian? Like, is that like, am I like? Did she think me too? Is it like all three of us? And then she looks at me and she goes, Mexican? And I'm like, all right, good night. And I walked away. I mean, you can be drunk. You can be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter who you are, how attractive you are, what gender. I just feel like you don't come up to someone and just start. That's not the first question you ask them. Well, where did hey go? How are you doing? What are you drinking? Where's any of the other introductory statements? I mean, is chivalry dead?
That is whack. I don't know. I
was disturbed. Especially for my Indian friends. It was not a good reflection of America.
I'm not sure it's like, I don't want to speak on the racism side. That's not something I want to touch.
I want your take. What's bar etiquette? If someone came up to you and said that, wouldn't you be a little hurt? I feel like even
I don't know if being hurt is the right reaction. Complicated conversation. Not sure if it's for Unmasked.
I think it's for Unmasked because it's something that all three of us were taken aback from. I just think if you want to make conversation,
surprised.
Okay, hurt's the wrong word. You can't in today's day and age, you just can't lead a conversation by going up to someone and just saying, like, in that tone, are you guys like all Indian? You just have to be like, hey, where are you guys from? That's way more appropriate in my opinion. But then Franz walked in and the topic changed. So it was all a big weekend. It was fun to be back in Ann Arbor, but that was definitely a highlight. What else has happened? I don't know. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun in Dallas?
Yeah, actually, I went out with some of my friends. Like my Texas Sammy had like an event here for like Rush. So, I saw Adam there, the man.
Oh yeah,
I saw Adam there. Yeah, it was awesome.
Man, the legend.
Yeah, we got to hang out a little bit, which was sick. But yeah, it was a good time.
Did you see? Speaking of clubs and professional athletes and basketball, did you see the news over the weekend that Buddy Hield could be headed to the Lakers?
Interesting. I've seen some rumors about that. In the Spurs thing, they're talking about doing a swap where the Lakers get DeRozan, Spurs get Hield, and the Kings get Kuzma.
Interesting.
Which was interesting.
I don't like that at all, actually.
I saw on the Spurs, like, DeMar DeRozan made a statement saying, like, his priority in free agency is to win a championship. So I've already mourned my time with DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, he's not coming back. I'm sorry. We'll talk about him.
Comes back. I'm really interested to see where he does go. I think it'll be LA. I think it'll be the Lakers.
I don't know. This guy could be in LA. That's all I'm saying, man.
It could
be this guy.
It's possible.
Us too, man. We want him in Dallas.
He wants a championship. So I know there have been rumors swirling about DeMar DeRozan to Dallas, but I don't see that as that plausible because if he really wants a chip, I don't know if Dallas is a safe enough space to go.
Okay, that's something else. Now that Luka needs help, I feel like I've seen every single free agent under the sun mentioned as a potential Mavs target, and it's from
as is every year.
But especially this year. Today I saw that Kyle Lowry is going to be option A. Okay. Well, okay. It's funny. Every single tweet leads off with Tim Hardaway Jr. is the priority and then it has a name. So it's like, that's our option A is to run it back, which whatever. But I've seen DeRozan. I've seen Lowry. I've seen Dinwiddie. I've seen Rashawn Holmes. I've seen Mike Conley. There are so many names that I've seen. Jarrett Allen, just like random people that we probably couldn't get if we wanted to. And
I've heard a lot about Beal to Boston. What do you think about that?
To Boston?
Yeah.
But I don't think Boston's going to give up Jaylen Brown. I don't. No, they wouldn't. They would have to give him up. They're not getting Beal without Jaylen Brown. Who are they giving up? Who do they have? They don't have anyone.
Robert Williams.
That's not going to get you Bradley Beal's left shoe.
Marcus Smart.
Not doing it for me.
And package a bunch of picks and throw in like Aaron Naismith or Peyton Pritchard or something.
That could get you Ish Smith and Robin Lopez. Congrats. That's not going to be enough for. I mean, the team was like inspired by the end of it. Remember the Sixer series? They're not just going to give up on the team that easily. Beal has meant so much to the city, and besides, people have way better offers than the Celtics. Look what the Heat could package up. I mean, realistically, you throw Duncan Robinson in there with Hero and Precious, and you just keep adding assets, Kendrick Nunn, whoever you want. I mean, that's going to be better than what the Celtics can offer. The only way for the Celtics to get Beal, and I know Beal and Tatum are boys. The only way for that to happen.
That was the thing, yeah.
The St. Louis blood. I'm just saying you have to throw in Jaylen Brown, and I know Celtics fans are intent on keeping Brown and Tatum together. Sources have told me, so I just know they're not going to do that.
But do you think the Brown-Tatum duo can win a championship in the future?
Brown. I don't think they can either. I think you need a third piece there. I mean, look, I would have told you that the Booker and CP3 duo couldn't, or Middleton and Giannis was going to always come short. And honestly, in regular years, they would have. These were not the two best teams in the league. I don't care what anyone says.
No, for sure not.
So things can.
I don't know who the best team in the West is, though. Would you say the Clippers?
I think the Clippers are the most talented. I would say when healthy, the Lakers probably played the best. But
I think even if the Lakers were fully healthy, I think Phoenix still could have beaten them. I think it was possible.
I mean, you're down 2-1, and Phoenix, the two losses were pretty convincing wins by the Lakers. If AD stays healthy, I think they win that in 5 or 6. I don't know. The Suns may get one more game, but I mean, that's whatever. It's in the past. But I mean,
you think CP3 ever gets a chance at a ring again?
No, I don't. And I really wanted to talk about that. Unless he ring chases. If he says, screw it, I'm going to the Lakers. Okay. I mean, do you count that? I mean, is that like,
it's interesting. I mean, I'll get into this now. I mean, let's bring this up now.
Yeah, let's do it.
CP3, future prospects. Where does he rank all time? I've been getting a big argument with my friend Jacob Lampert. He's a big CP3 homer. And Jacob is convinced that even despite losing the championship, CP3 is a top 5 point guard of all time. Your thoughts, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm going to start naming point guards. So obviously Magic and Isaiah. I mean, that's in whatever order. I'm not going to argue that right now. Stockton, I would put above him. And that's where it gets tough. Do you put Nash above him? I mean, I would. A 2-time MVP? Yeah, I would put Nash above him. Then who's the next one? Jason Kidd? I don't know. Okay. You're right. Now I was thinking people who were retired. I wasn't thinking
Robertson.
Oscar Big O. He's a point guard.
I think Steph, even active career, he's already like.
You're right.
I mean, he has how many chips and how many MVP?
I take MVP. I don't take MVPs lightly because that is an 82 game sample size. That is a season award. That's not just the best player. That's the best player. Realistically, what they give the award to on the best team. So they had success in the regular season and they had the statistics.
That's interesting that you're so firm on Isaiah. I'll tell you Jacob's top 5. I'll speak on behalf of Jacob. His top 5 that he was very, very firm about was Magic, Oscar Robertson, Steph, and it wasn't Stockton, it wasn't Thomas.
There's no world where Paul's better than Thomas. Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No. That is so recency bias. That's insane. Go back and watch any Hardwood Classic game.
The point that he made to me was about the like all NBA teams and stuff. Because
that was so different back then. That's ridiculous. Look at defense, toughness, accolades, success, leadership, clutch. I mean, you think Isaiah Thomas would blow a 2-0 lead in the final? Never. That guy rose to the occasion in every single aspect of the game. There's no way. I mean, that guy like locked it in when it was meant to be locked in. He was so tough. And the fact that Chris Paul could barely scrape into the finals with a team that was probably better than what we gave him credit for in a year with COVID, and then he blew the lead like that. There's a reason, and I know this isn't all his fault, but there's a reason he's blown the most 2-0 leads in the history of the league.
That's like, interesting. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like that doesn't just happen. So I think that's interesting. And, I think he's definitely up there. I think he's probably a top 30 player. Or he can
point guards.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying like top 30 player. I think he's probably in the top 7 or 8 point guards. I would have to really sit down and think about it. But like, then you think, okay, do I put, I wouldn't put Westbrook above him, but Westbrook has the stats. I wouldn't put Kidd. I think that Chris Paul is doing what Jason Kidd did at Jason Kidd's point of like, they're the same age when Kidd won the championship and Paul now, and Paul is doing so much more. The defense definitely is in Kidd's favor. He carried the Mavs on that. It was Kidd, Marion, and Chandler. But Kidd was the anchor. He would take LeBron as a 37-year-old. Like he was doing that. But Paul carries that team as a first option. Maybe not the first option all the time, but he can be like you saw him close out the Clippers. Kidd was not doing that. So I had to give it to Paul. But that aside, I think there are 5 point guards that are better than Chris Paul. I don't know. What do you think? Who are your 5?
I would say for sure, Magic, Oscar, Steph. That's my top 3 right there. I'd say Stockton and Ford. But Jacob's argument to me was looking at it as a player who is a point guard, if that makes sense. Right. Because if you're talking pure point guard, then I'd say probably Stockton's 1 or 2, maybe probably one best pure point guard of all time.
You're talking pure point guard. Rondo's on Mount Rushmore.
Honestly,
but he's not. Yeah. He's not. Like,
but I mean, I guess the argument would be like, are you saying who's a better point guard or who's a better player, right?
But I still think Steph's a point guard, even though he shoots the ball well. James Harden is not a point guard. LeBron is not a point guard. I think Luka still could be a point guard. He really does run the offense like a point guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harden ISO is not.
Still I'd probably take Stockton over CP3. And I'd say Isaiah Thomas rounds out my top 5.
And then where does like DeJounte fit it? I mean,
he's probably number 6.
He's on the way up. So that's something else that's happened recently. For those of you who don't know, my birthday gift to Zach was a DeJounte Murray jersey. And right after I gave it to you, there was rumors that he could be traded this offseason. So
yeah, it was like you flipped the switch right there.
You know those commercials where it's like the dad crying in the shower, like crying at the table with the jersey, and the kid shows him like how you can get the jersey back with Fanatics. They give you a bag if the player gets traded. So we might be calling Fanatics pretty soon, but I don't know why they would trade him, honestly. And he's the future.
Dude,
so
yeah, I go back and forth. But I love him and I want him to succeed and thrive in his career. I also been going back and forth on Keldon recently. I think Keldon's great. Don't get me wrong. You're about to have a whole speech about Keldon.
I like Keldon. Yeah, I like him.
Eli Minsky got in my head about how Keldon is just his cap is Andre Iguodala, and I don't like that, but I do. He got in my head about it a little bit. I do think there is a parallel to their game, actually. I don't think that's his cap by any means, but I mean, at the same time, I might be underrating Iguodala. Iguodala had a great career. No shame. Iguodala, I remember
still
Philadelphia. He still has a great career. Philadelphia, Iguodala was a different animal, different breed.
The real AI.
He kind of resigned himself in the not like he was very important to the Warriors' success. I think he wrote a book called like Six Man or something.
AI is a point guard. Or do you consider him a shooting guard?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Because he's better than Chris Paul too. I will not take that slander. That man dragged that team to the finals.
Yeah,
that was a bad team. That was a bad team. That was the kid made Mutombo
right.
was your second best player.
Yeah, you're right. Allen Iverson, he's the truth. He's the answer. What am I saying?
Yeah. Not Paul Pierce here. We don't
not Paul Pierce.
We don't mention him on this podcast.
But yeah, no, okay. Keldon is going to be better than Andre Iguodala, but there is something to be said for a parallel game.
If Keldon is Andre Iguodala, then DeJounte is Sean Livingston. So
I hate that. But it's kind of true. I guess it's like I would say that's like not their peaks. That's like they're like a little bit. It's just like a similar style of game. That doesn't
Jakob Poeltl is Andrew Bogut. This is just you just
gotta different.
You're not the Warriors, and you would love to be the Warriors. So all you need is a good draft pick here. We're gonna get into the draft pick soon, but the Spurs have a bright future. I wouldn't be hating on them yet. I think the Spurs could turn it around. But the coaching, something's up in Tokyo right now. I don't know what's wrong with Pop, but this team. Someone the other day
looking great.
Someone was like, the USA is not going to win gold, and I'm like, shut up. Like they're still going to win gold. This is not. There's trouble in paradise right now. But come on.
Do you ever like low key want them to lose?
Oh yeah, I do, and I don't even think that's anti-patriotic. That's just like that's the love of you like sports when you constantly root for the underdog. That's just being a sports fanatic.
Like seeing Slovenia win would be sick.
Yeah, that has crossed my mind. But I mean, obviously they're the best team. This is not. They were playing Drew Holiday in crunch time, and he less than a week before just won the championship. Like, give this team some time. I didn't like that decision. I thought Beal should have been in instead of Drew Holiday, but
isn't Beal hurt?
Oh, whoever Levine, whoever was one of the two guards. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Beal dropped off the team or something.
I know they have a deep.
Isn't that how Keldon got on?
No, didn't Keldon get on when Kevin Love dropped off?
I think that's why JaVale McGee joined.
Oh, you're probably right. He might switch teams to join Tokyo Olympics. What? NBA trade rumors. Oh, to join Tokyo Olympics teammate. Interesting. There's a whole article about how it's tying his Olympics to Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Wow. I guess that's maybe the one you read. Crazy. But I was going to ask you back to the Chris Paul thing. Just one more thing. So we've established how big potentially this was to lose. For Chris
Do you think
Paul.
If he would have won that championship, he'd be in the top 5?
I think it would have been a lot. I think you could easily write the narrative that he took a team that didn't make the playoffs and beat the 2-time MVP and Depoy in a final series. Like that, you could have that, and there could be this whole other argument. I think it'd be a lot easier to make that argument. Which is why it's a big deal. Now he's 36. We talked about he has to ring chase. But for Giannis, is this a bigger deal for him? At 26 now, he's a 2-time MVP, Depoy, finals MVP. I mean, he's 26. Like, all this has happened in the last 3 years, and the guy's 26 years old.
Yeah.
Like, is it his league now? Like, we were like, oh, LeBron, and then we were like, Kawhi and Luka even and Dame.
It's like every time we're ready to move on from Giannis, he just does something else.
Right.
He keeps like pulling us back.
And how crazy is it that he would have been sitting on his couch if Durant wore a size 17 shoe? And is that nuts?
It's crazy, man.
What would that have done if Kevin Durant had led that team, that mishmash team by the end of it, after the Aldridge retirement, after Kyrie getting injured, James Harden trying to play, like if he had taken down a full healthy Bucks roster minus DiVincenzo, but still, and then gone on and won the finals, that would have been.
I think right now Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA right now. Like career-wise, LeBron. Not even trying to make that argument.
Hit a 3 against France, man.
Who's better all time, Durant or Steph Curry?
I think you have to give it to Durant, because I think they both changed the game in a lot of ways, but I just think Durant is the best big man scorer we've ever seen. He can do it in the most ways I mean, you had Duncan and Hakeem with great post games. Durant has equally as good of a post game. He can face. Yes.
I don't know about that.
Come on.
I don't give you that.
Okay. Well, then let's keep pushing it out. Mid-range, better than Dirk, in my opinion, or as good. He's, at least if he's not better, he's in the vicinity of these players. And then he shoots the three more consistently than all of them. So when you put the whole package together at all three levels and the free throw line and just ISO, getting a bucket, clutch, Durant as a score above 6'10" is probably the best we've ever seen. So the fact that
I agree with you on that front, but yeah.
Curry changed the game with threes. I'm giving him that. But you're always going to look back at those championships and say, who was the finals MVP? I know it sucks that that's what's happening, but it's like, who was the one that led them in the times when they needed it
Andre
most?
Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala.
Keldon Johnson, essentially, right?
Exactly. But I just think Durant his peak was as the indisputed best player in the league for a long period of time, and at least 2 to 3 years just in this age, like he overtook LeBron for a solid stretch there in the mid 2010s. Curry had the hype, but I don't think he ever got the respect that Durant got throughout his whole rise.
Well, what about when Steph Curry was unanimous MVP first time ever?
People still doubted him because that team went on to lose in the finals. So he got there were memes or jokes. Steph Curry was never looked at as the singular face of the NBA best player. And I think what you just said says a lot, that Kevin Durant can come back from an Achilles injury and take the league by storm. And people can say he's the best player in the NBA on the wrong side of 30, on the wrong side of an injury history, and also have the resume of 2 finals MVPs, a regular MVP, scoring titles, and being the best big man scorer there is. Like that whole thing happened before, and then he went through all that, and now
who's a better big man scorer, Giannis or Durant?
Durant, 100%. I think Giannis is closer to the Shaq Hakeem scoring, and Durant is more on the Duncan Dirk. I don't know who else you want to put out there that stretch the floor better, but I love KD, so
I do too.
Always take him.
Welcome.
Where is Steph Curry right now? Not helping his country,
dude. Where is everybody?
It's ridiculous. Come on, Steph.
Oh, did you ever end up watching Space Jam 2?
I did not. Let's hear your review,
dude. No.
I heard Micah did not like it, so I want to hear your.
I'll wait for you, and we can talk about it together.
Okay, all right. Space Jam 2 and a more solid top 5 point guards of all time to come in another episode. This has been a good discussion. The last thing I want to hit before, we can talk a little bit Olympics real quick just to give an update, but I guess the big headlines besides USA completely dropping the ball in game 1 was Simone Biles, from a USA standpoint, Simone Biles not participating in the final from a lack of physical and mental strength at that point to compete, which everyone can have their own opinions about. USA women's soccer had a draw against Australia, and women's, if you think men's basketball is the favorite, like women's soccer, like they're the real deal. And then
Drew wife on that.
Yeah, the holidays, and there's Julie Ertz, Zach Ertz's wife, is on the team as well. So a lot of crossover. And then
Zach Ertz sucks.
Yeah, he does.
I'm in fantasy this year. He sucks.
Yeah, Dallas Goddard's going to take his lunch money. We're going to have some fantasy football soon. So.
Oh yeah, we need to do that pod. I actually need that before my draft.
And then the only other thing is, have you seen these young kids winning medals, like the 13-year-old skateboarder?
Oh, what? There's one girl who won gold who's going to be at UT next year.
Is this the Maccabi Games? I'm a little confused.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so the Olympics, crazy. Can someone help me get it on my TV? I feel like this is the worst I've ever seen watching the Olympics. I'm looking on NBC Sports on my Fire Stick, and they have like 2 channels, and it's USA and some things I've never heard of. I'm watching like equestrian. Someone help me. I'm not able to watch any important sports. Sorry, equestrians. Sorry, horses. Are you watching it like at all? Voice crack?
Yeah. What did you say?
I voice cracked. Are you watching the Olympics?
Yeah, I've been watching a good amount. My dad, just like casually. I love handball. It's my favorite.
I wish I had cable up here. Be able to just turn on anything. You're lucky. Okay. And have you noticed they don't air any clips? Like NBC won't give Twitter any highlights. So you can't see. It's like all secondhand footage and random people posting the videos. It's not any official.
It's strange. Really, like the media is not good for the Olympics.
Well, Tokyo was really upset that they were still hosting the Olympics because COVID's really bad there right now, and the vaccine rollout was horrible apparently, and so people were mad. So sponsors pulled out. So they're like all over the place with their marketing dollars and media revenue, everything. It's like not the best. But last thing I want to hit, and I'll get your opinion. I don't know how we've gone all this time without even talking about it. Hook'em, what's going on? Leaving the Big 12? What is this?
Yeah, dude, it's a huge move.
You happy?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy. I wish it was during my time, but I think it's gonna do a lot for UT sports and really put us on the map. We're gonna get demolished for a couple years. I think we will for a couple years, but then once we kind of fit into this system, I think we'll be able to figure it out and really be a top target. So I think it kind of takes away I think it's going to add a lot of value towards like playing football at UT.
Did you see Ole Miss's tweet? No. It was just like ready, like they're basically saying we're ready, and it was a picture of Ole Miss catching touchdowns against OU and Texas, and someone was like, Texas has more wins against ranked SEC opponents than Ole Miss does in the last like 5 years or something. Because the LSU win and the or the Georgia, who you beat in the Sugar Bowl? I forget. Georgia,
yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's really exciting. My professors here in Michigan have been calling this for years, although they thought it was going to be the Big Ten, because if you look at the Big Ten logo, it looks like a 16, like the BIG. It's B110 or B10, B10, whatever, and it looks like it could be B16, and so they're like, we're ready for 2 more teams to join, and it's going to be Texas and OU because those are the only 2 colleges that actually give revenue to the Big 12 and like produce. And I mean, I guess it was the SEC. It makes sense from a football standpoint, at least, which is the most profitable sport for schools. And so it's interesting. But what's going to happen? I mean, they can't just replace Big 12 can't just replace Texas and OU and expect to be a Power 5 conference. Like they're not going to be able to afford to play a Power 5 schedule in all their sports and give money and scholarships like Power 5 schools. I mean, they can't just recruit SMU in Houston and say, oh, patchwork, we stop the bleeding. Like the Big 12 is going to dissolve if they expect to do that, which is kind of a scary thought.
That is a scary thought. Yeah, I hope it was just time to, like I feel bad for the Big 12. I don't want to see it just like get torn to shreds, but that's what probably is going to happen. I feel like a lot more people are going to jump ship following us and OU. But it was time. I think change is good and important, and it's going to really help us. It's kind of selfish, but
no, I agree. You know my prediction?
Please.
I bet you that Iowa State and one other team join the Big Ten, because we already have Iowa, right? We already took Nebraska, so it could be like a Kansas in the Big Ten with Iowa State. Wouldn't put that past them. I don't know, man. Just calling it. I think the Big 12 is done for. So are you still playing a Big 12 schedule until 2025, or are you?
Yeah, unless they like buy out, which is very possible. But as of right now, the plan is to just play. I mean, just
until
play
2025.
Yeah.
All right. That will be interesting. Mazel tov. Happy for you. All right. So anything else, or can we get into our NBA draft?
No, let's do it.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Zach and I are going to draft a mock lottery for Thursday's NBA draft. You might be surprised who number one is. So stick around.
And we are back with Unmasked. Are you ready for the draft, Jordan?
I was born ready.
Born ready. With the first overall pick in the NBA draft. Boom, 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 boom. Or how does he? Yeah.
It's no. I'm thinking. Wait. I want to play it now. Hold on. Now I gotta play it. NBA draft sound. Ready? I don't think you can hear it on my computer. Can you?
No. We could like put the audio over. We could like overlap it. Oh.
Can you hear it?
I heard like part of that.
Okay, I'm good. Do.
Pistons select Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State.
Okay. So it is who you thought. Tell us why.
I feel like that was probably the easiest selection in this draft. Averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 43.8 from the three-point line. Cade Cunningham is a man who can do it all. His ceiling is absurdly high. I like to think Ben Simmons with a shot, which is kind of scary to think about. People have been saying his offensive game is similar to Luka. I don't know. I like Ben Simmons with a shot. But he is unreal. I've seen him play a lot. I watched UT beat him in the Big 12 championship. Not going to be a thing anymore. But he is something else. I think he could be a franchise player for the Pistons. So they're really lucky with this pick. We spoke about this last time, I believe, like a trade proposal that was like suggested on Twitter about Thunder giving up like the 4th or 6th pick and Shy for Cade, and like pretty good both sides maybe, but I don't know. Just the fact that Cade can completely possibly turn their entire franchise around is too sweet to really give up on. And so I think he'll make a huge impact in the NBA.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see him in Detroit. I'll be here for the next year. So we'll definitely make my way to the Little Caesars Arena. I guess the only way this doesn't happen is someone trades with them. But that would be, hey, if there's one organization that would not draft Cade Cunningham, it would be Detroit Pistons. So
the New York Knicks.
Yeah, that's true. Knicks could do that. All right. Well, number 2.
The Houston Rockets.
Yeah. I think the Rockets keep this pick. I know there's been talk that they trade it, but I think they're going to keep it because they need a centerpiece. I think they go Jalen Green. He's pretty much the consensus number 2. He's just, 6'6", 180. Like, he's going to be your prototypical 2-guard who's athletic, can score. Jarrett Jack said this kid can flat out play because he played with him on G League Ignite, and Amir Johnson, some other vets. I believe in the eye test, and he looks good. We haven't seen him against college competition, but in a way the G League could be more impressive. I don't know. I think this is going to be a really important draft for that reason, honestly, is if it proves that guys like Jalen Green, Isaiah Todd, if they can play, Kuminga, if they're like good after the G League and that prepared them enough, this could be a monumental draft moving forward. But I think that all starts with Jalen Green. I think he'll be a Rocket. So you can take him.
I like that pick a lot, Jordan. And I like my next pick too. As the Cleveland Cavaliers GM with a 3rd pick in the NBA draft, I select Evan Mobley from USC. I think that's a very safe pick. 7 feet tall. It's kind of like, dare I say, Anthony Davis, maybe. What was he averaging? He was averaging 16.5 and 9 and 3 blocks on almost 60% from the field.
Davis or Mobley?
Evan Mobley.
Okay.
Straight up beast, absolute beast mode. And I think he could add a lot of value to that Cavs team. And honestly, like they're not good, not a good team, but if they keep Sexton, which I'm not sure they're gonna do, I think a team with Sexland, right? You got the guy from last year, Okoro, and then Mobley at 5. I mean, it's a pretty strong core for the future. A very strong core for the future. And I know I'm sleeping on some people when I'm saying that.
Well, they have Jared Allen, but maybe they'll let him go.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense next to him. But yeah, I mean, they have like Larry Nance and like
K-Love.
Yeah. So maybe they could trade a bunch of people for like to get a nice 4 there. I don't know. Yeah. But
Chetty.
Oh, Chetty, who's honestly pretty good. Yeah. Either way, I think Evan Fitz he can make something of that franchise and help them cultivate something nice there, a winning culture.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they take him, and I'd be happy to see Jared Allen get released, not released, but like from their grasp because he's a restricted free agent. Okay. 4th, and I don't think this is surprising either. I think it's pretty chalk up until now, but I think Toronto gets their Kyle Lowry replacement. I mean, I know Van Vliet's still going to be there, but they take a guy who I think could be the best player in this draft, Jalen Suggs. We saw it during the tournament. I actually was I was asleep when he hit his shot, but that's a whole nother story. I'm really upset. Jalen Suggs.
I was wide awake.
I know. Jalen Suggs, 6'4", 205. I mean, this dude's a beast. Another one of these freshman guys who just played lights out, not only played lights out during the season, but in the tournament showed his worth. And I think that's a big thing for these guys like Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs. Mobley had a great tournament. Cade was okay, but I just think the freshman with poise is big, especially for a championship caliber organization like Toronto that knows what winning's like. So, if you hold on to Pascal Siakam, that's a whole nother story, but you keep developing Boucher, and then you have Van Vliet and Suggs. So, you maybe try to sneak into the playoffs as an 8 seed with a pretty deep team. So that's my pick on to Orlando.
On to Orlando. Oh, by the way, I missed on I forgot on Mobley today. I saw Woj retweeted something about how an article saying that Mobley could easily be the most unique and best talent in this draft class. So I think this is just going to show how talented and top heavy, maybe deep too, this draft class really is. They have a lot of potential. Can't stress that enough.
I think Mobley could, this is the long shot. I think he could develop into a Shaq. I think if he puts on weight, because he's so skilled around the basket, and he's athletic. That's a guy, he's 215. If this guy gets up to 265, 270, he could be a force. That's someone to watch out for.
Okay. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, this is where it starts to get a little controversial.
Okay.
The Orlando Magic select Jonathan Kuminga.
I like it.
From the G League. This guy, he's averaging 16.7 rebounds, 3 assists, not the best shooter. Reminds me a lot of DeMar DeRozan. For good and the bad. Super athletic, outstanding athlete. I think not the best shooter in the world, but super athlete, versatile, could really I think that I know there's other guys that are supposed to go arguably here as well, but I think if the Magic really need to create some offense more than anything, because they really who's their best player right now? Wendell Carter?
Or Jonathan Isaac when he comes back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Furthering my case, really need to create some points, and I think this guy's your guy to get it done.
I like it. Yeah, he's another one who impressed in the G League. All right, well, Oklahoma City, they need a little bit of everything. I mean, the only asset they have came out today that he's not even untouchable, Shai Gilgeous. So when you look at their team, it's Lou Dort, Shai Gilgeous, and
a whole lot of nothing.
Kemba, is Kemba going to be there? I don't know. Pokachevsky, so I think you just have to go with the most potential on the board. I think that Bouknight would be the best scorer for them. I think that if you want to go big, like Kai Jones is your best big man left, but I think you'd be reaching here. Honestly, I think they should trade back, get assets. I mean, that's what they do best. So yeah, I think they could take Kai Jones later and they could trade back with, New Orleans or Charlotte or someone. But I think if you're going to stay here, you got to take Scotty Barnes. That's someone who is like Lou Dort. You put them on the perimeter together, they can guard anyone. They're both so lengthy, athletic, and stout. I mean, Barnes is 225. This guy's huge. And he was their sixth man this year. He's a freshman. But we saw how their Florida State loves pumping out six men. Patrick Williams for Chicago, he played well this year. Guys who can shoot and defend and are athletic, they can go high. And so you take the best guy on the board right now, and Scotty Barnes.
With the next pick in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors, I think, have the next pick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say, now it's getting interesting. I think the best player available would probably be like the guy from UConn, right? The guard.
Yeah, Bouknight. They like him a lot.
I just don't know if it makes sense because Clay is going to be healthy next season. But I guess you go for talent. So, I mean, with a team like that, it's already so good. It would add really important depth, first of all. And second of all, I mean, I guess they could play small ball and make it work. But, I guess Bouknight is your answer. This guy's a pretty insane scorer, lights out. He averaged 19 points per game and 6 boards. 6 boards. I think there are talks about like Dame going to Golden State. Don't think that's going to happen, but I think this guy could serve a similar role. Not saying he's going to be the next Dame, but I think I mean, he's a versatile scorer, and he could be paired well with Curry and Clay. And at this point, I think it's talent over need, because I think if you're going strictly for need, I mean, they have solid wings, plug and play wings with Wiggins and Oubre, and then they're developing Wiseman. So they really do have like a pretty nice lineup. Could use some work. But I think this guy would be a good option for now and for the long term, developing him for the future.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. You said the Dame rumor. Also, a rumor was Beal, obviously. Like, they've been involved in all these guards as rumors, and I think their plan is going to be having Steph, another elite scorer, and then Clay all together in the backcourt. And the reason I think is because I think that's lethal. I think it's something different that they haven't had before that'll be new to defenses. And then also, Oubre is a free agent, and that's another name that the Mavs I've seen. It's so ridiculous. And you put Wiggins back in that bench role, and Clay comes back, it replaces Oubre. You slide Clay up to the 3, and then you put in a guy like Bouknight or someone. I mean, you could still put Wiggins in and then bring Bouknight off the bench, but whatever. You have these flexible scores. So I don't think that's bad. Very interchangeable, makes for a good rotation.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So now it's back to Orlando. I think they should trade one of these. They just need assets. I don't like this at all. But if I'm going to go with someone, I just do not like any of the guys here. And I think that they have size is the one thing they have. So you can't go Kai Jones yet. Honestly, I think they take Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell
was a little early.
Davion Mitchell was rumored to go to the Warriors like a month ago at 7. And he's just it's nothing that happened with him. It's been all the other news, like Bouknight's rise, Kuminga has been rising, Franz has slowly been creeping up, and Davion's just like stayed stagnant. And so people are assuming that he'll fall to the Warriors at 14, with Kispert being their backup at 14 to get another shooter. But I just think that run in the tournament. I mean, do you like now that this is the opposite of recency bias? This is like us waiting so long from March Madness, having an entire NBA playoffs, and forgetting that Davion Mitchell took the NCAA by storm in that tournament. And the Orlando needs another backcourt guy. Fultz has been injured. They haven't had a good point guard since Jameer Nelson, I swear. So they need someone who can take control of that backcourt. Throwing in Mitchell right now with Michael Carter-Williams before what's his face? Fultz gets back, and then trying to work back in Isaac, Wendell Carter, whoever you're going to pick at 5. I just think it's a good option to have. You cannot have too many flexible scoring, athletic shooting guards. It just doesn't, they don't grow on trees. So they could use that leadership too.
Yeah, I like that analysis a lot. That makes a lot of sense. So him too. Yeah, I guess that'd be pretty nice if they got Kuminga, and that gives them a lot of value in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. Okay, so now we're in the 9th pick.
Yep. Don't take him. He's not going to hit free throws.
What's up?
He's not going to hit the free throws. Don't take him.
Nah, I don't like what I'm about to say, but I think I'm going to say it. I think the Kings take Kai Jones.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, I think they say, hey, we've messed up a lot of young big men's careers. That stops today. Kai Jones has a ton of potential. I hate saying this because I really want him to go to the Spurs, and I think it's very possible. But I think if the Kings are smart, they say we're done with this Bagley project, throw it in the bag. It's not working out. Richaun Holmes is solid, but not the answer we need. Let's start something new where we have this young talent with Halliburton, maybe healed, maybe not healed, and D-Fox, and then we'll throw in Kai Jones. And I think, well, having watched Kai Jones this entire year, I can vouch that he is a remarkable player who's going to add a lot of value to whatever team he gets on.
All right, so let me propose something to you. If they take Kai Jones, what do you think of this? Bagley, Barnes, and a first-round pick for CJ McCollum. As many picks as you need.
First-round pick for next year?
Yeah, as many picks as you need. Two first-rounders, Barnes and Bagley, for CJ McCollum and the Derek Jones Jr. contract to get out of that, or whoever.
Jordan, that is ridiculous. No, I think that's interesting. Personally, I think you're gonna not like my answer. I think you get more out of McCollum. I don't really see great value in any of those individual assets.
Okay, that's fair.
I see like more value getting rid of the Derek Jones, obviously, but
no, it's two quarters doesn't equal $1. I get it. I agree.
That'd be my argument.
Okay.
That'd be but I mean, and like Dame is really looking for people for help right now, and I don't think Marvin Bagley is your answer.
That's true. I just think Barnes can also pick up some of the scoring, and I think Bagley could use a change of scenery. I mean, he is a great talent. The only one of the top 5 in that draft who hasn't really panned out. So just curious. Just want to throw that out there. All right. How's this sound? I'm going to take New Orleans and Charlotte, and then you're going to take San Antonio. Okay.
Beautiful. Love that.
And Indiana. And then I'll finish it out with Golden State. Okay. So with the 10th pick in the NBA draft, the recently active New Orleans Pelicans, who just acquired Jonas Valanciunas. We did not mention that, by the way. So now they have I think Steven Adams and Jonas Valanciunas just like they serve the same purpose. So I guess it doesn't really change what their needs are. They could use some more guard depth though now without Eric Bledsoe. All right. So New Orleans Pelicans select. I'm not going to go. I cannot go Franz. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Corey Kispert. I think that they're going to lose Lonzo in free agency. They already lost JJ Redick. They lost Eric Bledsoe. Kispert. Well, okay, let me ask you this. Everywhere LeBron has been, what has he had?
Shooters.
Right? Everywhere. What if it was James Jones? Is it Kyle Korver? Now in the Lakers, Caldwell Pope, they've turned into a shooter, Wes Matthews. Everywhere he's been, he's had shooters. You look at Zion, he's not spending time outside the arc. This guy is in the paint, and when he gets doubled, what does he need to kick it out to? Shooter. I think Corey Kispert, not only is he a great shooter, he's 6'7". He showed a lot in the tournament too. He's a ready-made player. I don't think New Orleans thinks of itself as a rebuilding team. I mean, Corey Kispert is probably 23 at this point. He's a senior, and he knows what it's like to win. I just think that makes a lot of sense for them. Maybe that's a little high at 10, but I think that is getting him before another team snatches him up. So go Corey Kispert.
Do you want to get the next pick as well?
Yes, I do. Thank you for the reminder. Charlotte Hornets. All right. This is a team that I think could be one player away from a champion. No, could be one player away from making the playoffs because they really had a great stretch run last year, made it really close with Washington and those teams down the stretch in the playing games. And Washington ended up getting the 8. But I think Charlotte, with a full year from LaMelo, Gordon Hayward not getting injured, could be pretty close. Someone just argued the other day that Miles Bridges was one of the top 2 players on Charlotte, and I got really upset. I was like, I named Hayward and LaMelo, and then PJ Washington, and then I said Bridges. And he said Bridges is better than Gordon Hayward, and I got up and I left. I don't know what he's talking about. He's a Michigan State grad from undergrad, so that's probably why. All right. I think Charlotte is in good position with their roster. I think they could use a center. Bismack Biyombo is not a long-term answer, but I don't think you're going to get a center here. So I think you just have to take who I think is the best available at this point. And I would go with Moses Moody. I think he's someone they can craft. It seems like a very Charlotte Hornets pick. Take a flyer on a guy. You're the 11th pick. You're already a flexible lineup playing PJ Washington at the 4, Miles Bridges at the 3, maybe slide in Moody in there to replace Bridges or Hayward off the bench and just get some more depth is my thinking. Yeah. You could go Franz also. I don't love Franz. So even as a Michigan guy.
Honestly, the Spurs love forwards, but I think it's time to go the center route. And I love Pirtle. He's been doing great, beautiful things for the Spurs this year. But I think they need to really invest in like a long-term answer. And I think maybe Alperen Sengun can be that guy. That would be such a classic Spurs pick to like all these like really hyped up young college guys and this one international guy who's like people talk about it, but not like nearly as much. And I think he's raw. I actually watched his highlights and he looks like he has an insane post game. He's very like, and like, I feel like the Spurs would be the first ones to lock onto that. So if they don't go Kai Jones, I would not be surprised if they go Sengun from Turkey, averaging 19 points per game and 10 boards.
Not I like bad. It.
Two blocks, 2 assists.
I like it. I like a lot of guys left. My favorite guy in this draft, by the way, is Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois, not Iowa. I was looking at another player. I saw him in a game winner over Xavier Simpson, broke my heart. But I also love Isaiah Livers. But that said, I'm going to go with an unconventional pick here. I think this is my thought process. So let's say it's played out, the first 13 picks, exactly how it happened. Golden State took Book Knight, okay? So they have their scorer. They have their shooting guard, small forward. So in a normal world, they didn't take Book Knight. The poor man's Book Knight is Chris Duarte. He's been shooting up boards. He's a great scorer. But if they already took a guard like that and their guys, Mitchell and Kispert, their snipers are gone, then they look down the list and they're like, okay, let's build depth. Let's build the bench. Who else was a leader on that Baylor team besides Davion Mitchell? Jared Butler. I think with pick number 14, there's always a reach. There's always reach. Last year it was the Suns taking Jalen Smith, the Maryland guy who's expected to be maybe a late first rounder, probably an early second rounder in the 30s. They took him at 10, and he didn't play at all. They didn't play him in the postseason, was not in the rotation during the season. I think this is where the Warriors look at this and go, we've had a rotating cast the last 3 years. It's time to settle down. It's time to get a good backup point guard. Sean Livingston always backed up Steph. Now it's been undrafted free agents. We've had all these different guys. Let's get ourselves a guy who's a winner. He's old too. Okay. He was a junior. He knows how to win and he has experience. Jared Butler, great point guard. He's going to back up Steph. They take him at 14. It's my call.
Wait, 13?
14. That was the end, right?
I thought Indiana had 13.
Oh, Indiana doesn't count. Yeah, I forgot about Indiana. Shoot. That's at 14. I bet you weren't going to take Jared Butler, though.
I was not.
Okay. So everything I just said, just copy and paste in your minds. We're not actually going to splice it because we don't have that kind of time.
Indiana's Franz Wagner. I think that could make a lot of sense, him being there.
It's a good fit.
Yeah, it's a good fit.
They don't need him.
Kind of like best talent available. Kind of looks like Sabonis, maybe.
Definitely not as big.
In a way. Maybe he could be a good mentor for him. I mean, honestly, they could probably play together nicely.
Franz is more of a shooting guard small forward than he is a small forward power forward.
Yeah,
he's not that tall. That's overhyping it.
So some European ball. Love Europe. Unmasked loves Europe. We're sponsored by the EU. I think that makes a lot of sense. Jordan saw him in a bar so I'm not sure he's gonna be a lottery pick anymore.
He's like a slim Luka is his build. So he's not going to take any of Sabonis' minutes. This is a good fit because then you have Brogdon and Holiday, LeVert, Wagner, Sabonis, and you could trade Turner, or keep Turner, whatever. But he fits in really nicely there. You don't put too much pressure on him. It's a lot like Michigan, where you have a ton of guys around him, and he doesn't need to be the one scoring. So I like that. And LeVert went to Michigan, so there's that blood too. Yeah, good pick. And then Jared Butler to the Warriors. So that is our lottery. I think it was a decent lottery. I mean, you still have really good guys on the board. I would say Josh Giddey from Australia. I honestly didn't even know he was Australian until I looked at his country, but I just said Giddey like that, Josh Giddey, and then I saw his country. And then, like we said, Duarte, just a ton of guys, really young guys.
Definitely be a nice draft. Definitely be a nice draft.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back today in history, July 28th, I actually have a really special announcement when we come back that's gonna blow your mind.
Tell anybody.
What'd you say?
I thought you weren't going to tell anybody.
Not going to tell anyone, including Zach Den. But we will tell you when we come back on Unmasked next. And we are back on Unmasked. And so when I was looking through the birthdays, the events, everything for July 28th. So we're taping this on the 27th technically, but this is the night time. So 28th. When I was taping or when I was looking through, I was like, man, I feel like I've seen a lot of this before. So I looked through my past notes back before we even had a Google Drive together, just in my notes section on my computer. I went back and I found, you're not going to believe this, we had a show on July 28th, 2020.
Huh.
We have made it like that. To me, like in my mind, we haven't been doing this a year. I think that's really crazy. And it wasn't even our first show. It was the one with Kyle about the wiffle ball, was 28th.
Wow.
Which I think is crazy. And I wanted to give a little bit of just like a review of that show because I think that's insane. That was when we talked about Lou Will going to the Magic City Wings.
Oh yeah.
When he got busted in the bubble. How about when Tibbs got hired as a Knicks coach, which ended up being a great hiring. We talked about it that day if he was the right fit. He had just gotten hired. The Marlins were up to 17 players on the COVID list, and we didn't know if they were going to get through the MLB season. How far we've come there. Jamal Adams had just gotten traded to the Seahawks.
Wow.
That was interesting. Just crazy stuff like that. We did our MLB picks. And then it was Manu's birthday, and you gave a nice tribute to him.
That means his birthday again today?
That's his birthday again today. That's how it works in the world of the Gregorian calendar.
My favorite personality in NBA history.
So I let you take it away. You just went off on Manu. But I just think
it's sixth man of all time.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's also Ryan Tannehill's birthday, and you told your story about Ryan Tannehill, and he just got.
I thought I was Ryan.
He had just won the AFC Championship game and got rewarded with a 4-year, $118 million deal. So stuff changes. It's crazy.
Deserved. Everything. So like before he met me, he was living a solid life, but then he met me and it just like went up from there exponentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It works. That's you. It's the magic of you. And
Magic
we
City,
were so excited because I don't know what day it was last year, but the NBA season was starting later that week on Thursday. And so that the bubble literally hadn't started yet, and we were just hyped. So we've already gotten through that and a whole nother season in a year. So
wow, how far we've come.
I know. Just thought it was really cool. So made it pretty easy to see the birthdays, but today in history can just be our podcast from that day. Cause it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. We made it a year, Zach. Mazel tov.
Our anniversary.
Exactly. Okay. So we go into to birthdays. Talked about Manu, Ryan Tannehill. Harry Kane is 28. He's a soccer player. He's the captain of England, but he more importantly, he's a Spur, but he's the type of Spur in the English Premier League for Tottenham. So I just thought it was funny for you. But Harry Kane, he's actually really good. Soulja Boy, I want to know what you think is Soulja Boy's best song, because I actually, so weird this happened today. Obviously, Crank That is like his number one hit, but I was listening to music today while I was working out, and I had this like debate in my head about what his best song was, because I think he gets overlooked with a lot of his other songs, and it's crazy that we're taping this later that day and it's his birthday. So let's hear.
I would give a hot take, and I would say "Kiss Me Through the Phone."
Really?
Yeah, I think his most influential was for sure, Crank That. Oh wow, love that. It started a movement. A movement, Jordan.
At every bar mitzvah.
Every bar mitzvah, every wedding.
See, I think Pretty Boy Swag is the most catchy. I think that like that got really catchy. People started like thinking like the Pretty Boy got really like targeted by that. It became a thing. I don't know. And now like Rick and Morty, like that song is really catching fire on TikTok, but I don't think it'll ever be as big as the ones we mentioned. I thought it was an interesting debate.
Yeah, he's really made some legendary stuff.
It's quality over quantity with Soulja.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But happy 31st. Lori Loughlin, happy 57th. She's now free. She was not free when we first filmed. She's been released. So
it's been a long way.
I told you the story about how Jimmy Kimmel thought my mom was Lori Loughlin.
No.
That's a clickbait headline. But when my family was in LA without me, they were going for the filming of The Bachelor after the final rose or whatever one time, and Hallie was on the street and she got stopped by this random camera crew, and they asked her to identify what was on a poster board, and she couldn't do it, and my mom said, "Look upside down," and my sister looked upside down, and it was the United States flipped upside down. And so Hallie, being as smart as she was, said, "That's the United States flipped upside down," and they say, "Congrats," and that was it. And then we realized it was Jimmy Kimmel, and then when it aired, they slipped a line in there that said, "Is your mom Lori Loughlin?" Because she helped Hallie get the answer. Because like how Lori Loughlin helped her kid get into school, but they didn't actually say that in real time, but they slipped it in, edited. And so they just kept the camera on Hallie for an extra second because they were like congratulating her. And she just looked like like she didn't know what they were saying, but it was because in real time there was nothing being said. Anyway, funny thing. Happy 57th.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. You could look it up. Jimmy Kimmel, Upside Down US. Okay. Dana White, happy 52nd. He's in charge of the UFC. It's honestly gotten really big. He's the one where I looked at it. I was like, we've done Dana White before. And then I looked and I found that we had a July 20th show. So happy anniversary, Zach. Unless you have anything else, I think it's time for some fan mail.
Let's hear it.
All right. This is from We the North. Oops, I'm sorry. 6@gmail.com. Okay. Hey, Jordan and Zach. What's up, eh? Big fans of the pod, but we won the Kawhi trade. I mean, look at the ring, baby.
Sorry. I gotta go.
Sorry that wasn't nice. Okay. Complete flame so far. Anyway, in I Spy, when Kyle says, I am just like DeRozan, when I shoot it, it goes in, he implies that DeRozan makes his shots, which may be true, but we all know how inefficient the dying mid-range game is. Would DeRozan be a help to a contender? And if so, where do you see him having the greatest impact this season? We kind of answered this, but I want to hear your opinion.
I'm pretty sure we've gotten fan mail regarding this song before. Anyways, my friend, in my opinion, I think DeRozan would be an incredible help to a contending team. Incredible. I think he could even bring up a team that's peripherally contender to contender. Yeah, he's not the most stat oriented in terms of like future of data analytics in basketball. Basically what I'm saying is, yeah, he does take mid-range shots, doesn't play into this new wave of threes and dunks only, layups, whatever. But he gets buckets. He gets buckets, Jordan. He's top 10 among active players in points scored all time. He's number 10.
What?
Right behind
active players?
Yeah, among active players. Right behind Stephen, the man Curry himself. That's considering Aldridge also. So if you don't consider Aldridge an active player anymore, which is really not, then he's top 9.
He's not. He retired.
So he's top 9. But yeah, he has a lot of buckets. I think like 17K points, something around that. I think he could be a great, beautiful offensive weapon for a team like the Lakers, who could really. I think he's going to go to LA. He's from LA. He loves Compton. Talks about that a lot. And I think that they could use somebody like that. Also, honestly, the Clippers, now they lost Kawhi for this season, that could be even bigger maybe. So we'll see.
But why would he go there now?
I know that he was super honored when like the Lakers said that they were looking into trades for him. Like that was at the beginning of the year. So
he went to USC, right? So
he went to USC, big LA boy. I don't know what it is with the Spurs and attracting the most drawn to LA players in the world, but they have a knack for it.
See, I think it depends on the situation. I think there are situations where he wouldn't help. Like I think Milwaukee is too congested. There's too many shooters to go around there. Too many scorers who need the ball. I think Boston, he wouldn't help. I think the Sixers, he wouldn't help.
Disagree with you on Boston. Go on.
Really? Tell me why. Because he plays the same position as both of the best players on that team.
Yeah, but he scores. I mean, it's like they lost Gordon Hayward and they had to get Fournier. I think DeRozan could fill that Fournier spot really well.
Fournier's a shooter. He's not just like they're not running plays for Fournier. They would have to start running plays for DeRozan. The Clippers I like because I think the Clippers, he could fill the Lou Williams role. That is ball in your hands, get me a bucket. Fournier's not ball in my hand. Like they had to get rid of Kemba because they couldn't have too many people touching the ball.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, maybe he wouldn't work on the Celtics.
I just think like for the amount that unless you want him to have a mellow role like Carmelo Anthony, where it's just like, but I think he still has more juice where he can be a legitimate third option. But I think it has to be the right third option. I think the Mavs, I think that's a good one because Luka goes out and we have no one. We have Josh Richardson, Tim Hardaway trying to run the offense. You need a guy who can run the offense by himself, but he just can't be one of your top 2 players on the team if you're going to win the championship. That's what I think.
Unfortunately.
So Like the Lakers, that makes sense too, because you take LeBron and AD out and then you put in a guy like DeRozan who can elevate the role players. Like that, I guess you wouldn't do that on the Celtics, but all the role players are guards. Like the Celtics need to build up their front court before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he can help. It just has to be the right. Like I wouldn't put him on Phoenix. I don't think that's the right call. Maybe like Denver while Murray's out. I think that wouldn't be a bad. But why would he go to Denver? Right? He could have his pick of teams at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
But like Brooklyn, no, I wouldn't put him on Brooklyn. No. Okay.
But they might take him.
Yeah, they'll take anyone. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. That is our podcast for the day. Thank you for joining us. This has been really fun. We're going to do post-draft for sure. We can break that down before the season.
Might have a special guest on for that one.
Yeah, look forward
we might.
Yes. Yeah, we have some fun stuff planned, so stay in there. We're going to get to 100. We're going to get to 200. We made it a year. That's crazy that we're
getting to a K. So. That's when we're stopping.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if any podcasts have 1,000. I don't think podcasts have been around that long.
Joe Rogan does. He has over 1,000.
Oh, it is. Well, doesn't he do one like every day though? No, every few days. All right. Well, enjoy the NBA draft. I know I will. Hopefully I don't see Franz on Thursday night at the bars. Hopefully he is in New York or wherever it is. It's on New York. I forget where the draft is. Cleveland, maybe? No, that's where the NFL draft was. Let's find this out. It is at the Barclays Center, I believe. No, it's not. That was 18 and 19. Do anyone know where the draft is? Adam? No, Adam's not on here. Of course, I'm wrong. Zach, do you know where the draft is?
It's at Barclays.
Barclays. I knew it. Hopefully Franz is in New York. Hopefully everyone else is watching. Enjoy the Olympics. Enjoy the draft. Zach, anything else?
It's all from me, dog.
All right. Much love from Ann Arbor. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.